just me, tuning in to hear these three chatting about fantasy, novels of the spicy variety. Not your average book club, if you know what I mean. Are you happy to see us? Or is that a dagger? It's Feast, Sheath, Shatter. It's Feast, Sheath, Shatter.
Go. But we're plebes. Plebes in the world of production. You're welcome.
Not like I've ever produced another podcast.
I feel like you know a lot about a little. Well, I feel like you know a little about a lot, though.
That's fair.
Or a lot about a lot.
It's like the actual phrase for a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Jack of all trades, master of none is better than a master of one.
Yeah. I've heard that.
It's in the class of like, if you know this entire idiom, it changes the meaning of the idiom.
Yep. True that.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, this woman pointed this, I came across some information the other day, which means I watched a TikTok. This woman was pointing out that the A Court of Thorns and Roses used to have different, A Court of Thorns and Roses had different covers. They had different covers, and they redid them. TikTok. The Court of Thorns and Roses, when they changed the covers, they moved them from young adult to adult. Right when Silver Flames came out, because you were
smart move.
Smart.
Yeah.
Very clever. And so they think, somebody mentioned, because they've changed these covers, they're going to go from young adult to adult. And with Crescent City 3 coming out, is that a correlation or coincidence? It could be a coincidence, but I just like the idea that we might get some more of the people in this universe.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that I didn't read any of these as a young adult.
Yeah. Well, the first two books.
Then no man would ever satisfy me.
Yeah, that would be tough. Well, would you be, but the thing is, would you be mature enough to understand why these men are written to be like...
No, if I was a young adult, I'm thinking, okay, that means 14 or 15.
Oh, sure.
You know?
Yeah, in my head, I was like, early 20s, young adult.
Right, but like, think about the kids that are reading young adult.
Yeah.
They're like 12, 13, 14, 15.
Yeah. The first two books in this series, in Throne of Glass, read like a young adult book.
Yeah.
Which is why I have a hard time with young adult books. There's nothing against young adult books. I've read plenty of good ones, but that's probably why I struggled.
Like, this third book reads like an adult's book.
And the third book was like, okay, now we're playing to the big leagues. Like now we're finally in.
Aylin's actually playing by Titch's role in this book.
Right.
Instead of the first two books where she actually acted like a teenager in a rom-com. Oh, you were in Endovier for 2 years or a year? We wouldn't have known that because you acted like a 16, 19, 17, 18-year-old.
Which is just partly Sarah J. Maas not being mature enough. Like not being mature enough as a character, as a writer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's got it.
And she's got it now.
Yeah. I don't even know where to start. So many things I want to... So, Rachel.
So what?
I'm Kate. Hey, everybody. I'm Kate.
And I'm Rachel.
I'm Hannah.
This is the Superfan edition. So everything is on the table. If you have not read all of Sarah J. Maas's books, like me, don't listen to this podcast.
And Rachel, I would like for you to take an oath, make the creed right now. That
blood oath?
Would you please do a blood oath for us that you are okay with spoilers?
Yes, of course. I'm fine with spoilers.
Okay. Surprise, Rowan is Aylin's mate.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah.
Surprise!
Surprise!
Surprise to no one.
And so I think knowing where they're going, right?
Yeah.
We get this really beautiful moment later on in the books where Rowan, they get married off page because Sarah J. Maas will not write a wedding. Is everybody okay?
Yeah,
you guys
you're
are
fine.
looking at my drink.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's scaring me, like, subconsciously, because I do keep glancing at your drink, but I don't mean to.
It's just moving.
Okay.
It's fine.
I'm not going to flail this all over you. But I understand.
I'm more worried about the chair than my own, like, self.
Don't worry. My throne is good. So.
No weddings.
No weddings. So they end up getting married. He ends up the king, right?
Yeah.
Where the story is going. The story ends on a positive note. Lots of crazy, wild, heartbreaking things happen. But I mean, it's a story that wraps up.
Yeah.
And I think it adds in a reread a special level of when you see the little small things and the way they start. When I say like they hated each other. In A Court of Thorns and Roses, we see what happens when like Lucian and Elaine almost hates him. Like she doesn't want anything to do with him. She's almost like a vitriol. Did I use that right?
Vitriol, yes.
Towards him. And he loves her. And I think that they have that instant hate towards each other that is actually just their mating bond flaring up because they're not ready for each other.
Yeah, well, I think Lucian and Elaine is definitely because it was Elaine's lowest moment ever. And Lucian ran up and was like,
It's not a good time.
we're going to be together forever.
Yeah, all he was thinking about was himself,
so
and he was shocked.
Yeah.
So he doesn't give her a choice like Rasan does.
Right. He's just like, oh, you're my. He claims her immediately. He's like, I know you just came out of the
I'm
cauldron.
possession.
drenched in
She's
cauldron water.
He's still in I'm enabling tampon phase.
Yeah.
Like women are possessions. We keep them in the house. They don't leave. You're mine. Our scents are made to be one.
Yeah.
But in this story, this was especially like meaningful seeing them start over, seeing them meet each other, all these little moments together where Rowan is so cruel and seeing their energy with each other being so, what is it? When
Antagonistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then them slowly realize that they are mirrors of each other.
Yeah.
So...
Well, I read this thing recently that was Aelin and Rowan are greater than Farah and Rhys, who are greater than
Bryce and Hunt. Yeah.
And at first I was like, what? No. But
I mean, I think
love this book for them. Just the friendship part before... Oh, another deep gong.
Wow, I'm really bad today. Okay, that's why you guys were like, you shouldn't have that drink in your hand. You're going to want to put it down.
That's fine.
Yeah, I think that slow burn. It's really that slow burn relationship. And it's not going to reach fruition tomorrow and then the next book or the next two books. But what we end up learning is that, and like Maeve... You know, once you know who Maeve actually is, she is actually not Fae. She's a Valg queen. And she came through with one of the Valg princes to run away from him. And she tricked the two sisters into thinking they had another sister.
Oh.
That's how evil and that's how dark and twisted she is. And she knows through prophecy that Rowan and Aelin are meant to be together.
Mates.
And she tricks and she like rewrites his brain to think he's mated with someone else.
Oh.
Yeah.
So Rowan was never mated before. That was all an evil
that was
trick by Maeve.
Manipulating him.
Brainwashing.
Yeah,
Yes.
brainwashing him.
Just
And
like she did to all the cadre, really.
Right. Yeah, and so we get glimpses in this once you have that, you know, you've wrapped it up and you're looking back, you're like, oh wow, she's very evil. She's like, or, you know, and there's parts of her you kind of like, but no.
That's why she doesn't have a form, like a particular form.
Yep. And she's she ends up being a big bad and, you know, really, also, Maeve looks a lot like Rhysand. And I've heard some theories about Rhysand's heritage. She has violet eyes, dark hair. She looks a lot like him. So that kind of plays into that evil Rhysand theory.
No.
I don't know how that's going to connect because she comes from a different world.
She comes from a totally different world where they don't even have the color blue.
Yeah, that's true. But she does have violet eyes.
She may have violet eyes, but she doesn't even know what an ocean looks like.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So I don't know. I
just
she can't be related to Rhysand.
really want to
She's
reject
never seen
the evil
ocean.
Rhys theory, and I'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah, I hear that. It's really cool going back and then noticing all the little tidbits that she gives us in this. The way this connects to Assassin's Blade. How often she's mentioning these other stories. I completely missed it the first time. We're going to meet in the next book the redheaded queen in the West, in the Wastelands. Mm-hmm. We're going to meet her in Assassin's Blade. And knowing what happens with the 13, and I'm actually going to not tell you.
Thank God.
I don't want to tell you that. I want you to experience that.
Do you just leave? You guys can.
No, I just
because I still have to edit it.
No.
I'm
I'm not
anyway.
gonna. I don't want to talk about it. But knowing how their story ends, and then coming back and meeting them again, and meeting Abraxas and Manon, I just get chills every time. It feels so scrumptious to me.
Yeah,
it is. It's better on a reread.
I love this book.
Yeah, I know. I think that
in the scheme of the series, I really love this.
I mean, this is one of the strongest books.
It feels like Emperor Strikes Back.
Yes.
Yeah.
It feels like
Empire. Yeah.
You know,
it was really well.
Yoda's training me.
Yeah,
And
it was better done than any of the Court and Thorns and Roses books.
Honestly, I think this might be the strongest book in the series. I mean, if you're thinking about efficiency, not wasting, all the other books, things are going to happen.
Yeah.
But this one is just, it's like, I'm going to use a Harry Potter analogy.
Yes.
In the first 2 books of Harry Potter, the stakes were not that high. Like, we knew that this big stuff had happened. But it was the 3rd book when the stakes got really big that we all of a sudden were like, oh my God, Harry's a real person. Mm-hmm. Sirius Black is a real person. And we have, we've been with these 2 characters. We were in Chamber of Secrets. We were with Philosopher, Sorcerer's Stone. And now all of a sudden, this is real shit happening. And we love them. And that's what this book feels like to me. Yeah. It feels like she knew if you don't, by the 3rd book, if things aren't going well or you want to keep reading it, I feel like the 3rd book is always a tell of the series.
For sure.
And this one it is, definitely. Like, we've been playing checkers, we're finally playing chess.
Yeah, for sure. And we see how she's figured out Selena Aelin, and she's our leader. She's our general. She's our good time guy.
And really, the rest of the books are going to be very, everyone's in their own... I mean, we're going to be hopping between different
stories
for the rest of the series.
Kale gets his own book.
His own book.
And most people going into it,
you're going to love it.
And you'll see it on Reddit, over and over again. Hey, do I need to read Tower of Dawn?
My God.
Yes, you do. You need to read it. But people are like, can I skip the Kale book? No, you can't.
He's not that. He's just a noble idiot.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. And his story...
Which I just use noble idiot like it's a trope. There's a trope forced proximity or whatever. Noble idiot is just like a...
It's like a type of
It's an
character.
honor culture character.
Yeah. But going back and then seeing this book and this is the beginning. This is truly the beginning.
Yes.
And I don't know. I just really enjoyed... I found myself really immersed. I was like, I had stop washing dishes if I didn't hear it right, rewind it, keep going back. The spiders come back, everything. So you can see the beginning of the plan in a way in this book that, once you know
where we're going,
how it fruits.
So exciting. This is the true, really beginning for me. And it's so exciting.
I would agree with that. I mean, I think you need the first 2 just to introduce the characters, but it's unfair to put them in front of this book. Because again, it's like A Court of Thorns and Roses. You get through the first 3.5, if you count Frost and Starlight. And then you get to Court of Silver Flames and you're like, who wrote this? Was this the same woman that wrote the first
and Silver
book?
Flames blows you away.
Silver Flames.
You're
it's so good.
Where did this come from?
To me, Crescent City is written more like these.
Yeah.
Where it's I don't know. Crescent, I hate to say it, but I feel like Crescent City is my favorite. And that's not a common opinion.
So it's not a common opinion, but it's so
the world building is
complex.
Huge. It's a lot.
There's so many different things going on.
A little bit, yeah.
With more experience,
yeah, and it's a lot of things happening at one time. The world building's huge. I enjoy being with those enjoy being in that book a lot. And I really am enjoying this even way more than the first read through because I know how it ends. And I think rereads are really important when you love a series.
Like, if it's well written, then yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because going back, you're like, oh, okay, good. Now I see all the things that you did.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can see where you missed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can see why it wasn't. Yeah. But so we find the word keys. And I don't know, where's the second one? I was like, did I miss that? Did I miss
We found the first one. She's just assuming he has two because of the level of power that he's wielding.
Oh, I see.
Because at this point, she doesn't know.
Oh, they do have two. I know where the second one is. I just remembered. They do have two.
Because she opens Elena's crown.
Yeah.
Then that's where and it was missing. And she doesn't know how many.
They do have two. I just remembered where it was. But in this reread, I was like, what? No.
Okay.
It's the Superfan edition.
Oh, yeah. I just don't want to spoil it. Caltaine, they have it in the mountain.
Yes.
And what we're going to learn is you were dead on. The king is not the main character. He's not the big bad. He is a player. And what he did was open up he brought back the bad guy that Elena and
Brandon. Or no.
Gavin and Elena put this Vogue king into a tomb or something. And that is what their whole thing was about. And he straight up brought him back. And he's going to be our big bad. And the king is just a pawn, just like you said.
Yeah.
Well, he's more like a...
So Parrington... we see a lot more of Parrington, I feel like, in this book, right?
No, we don't see him at all.
At all.
He's not in it.
He's going to be
not
down
in it.
at...
Roland's not in it.
But we're going to...
Oh, I know what I'm thinking of.
They're up at Morath. Is that what it's called?
Absolutely not Morgoth.
Morgoth.
Morgoth is from Lord of the Rings.
Is it Morath?
Morath.
Okay. I don't know. They all sound there's my voice. I don't know. They all sound the same.
I'll just try it. I could be up here too.
And so yeah, we get this they have it. And they're going to try and put it in someone and create a portal.
Okay.
But yeah, that's where they took Caltaine. Caltaine had magic in her blood. But this one in the sorry, I lost my thoughts.
It's okay.
Oh, Dorian. This is kind of the beginning of Dorian's story, too.
Yeah.
I think losing Sorsha in the grand scheme
he's finally had shit happen to him.
Yeah. Bad stuff. And he realizes who his dad is. And now he's going to have to start. And where he is now and where he goes.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I mean, his power blows up and, it gets sexy.
I mean, I told you in the first, 5 minutes that Dorian's my favorite character.
Yeah.
So just take that as you will. But he has such an amazing journey we've just seen him get collared, basically.
Yeah.
So
now we got to fight that. And they're not going to let that stay. Yeah. And now we know we have to, we got to get excited because now we get to go back and meet this Arabin guy that we haven't met yet, that we're about to meet. And we get to figure that out. And then they're going to have to do something with Dorian because no one's going to let our boy stay in a collar. We're just going to keep learning more and more. And eventually we get this really universal, world-changing bad guy. And it just, we bebop all around the globe. And it just... it just gets really big. And
I know, I saw the last book now. It's
you've seen.
It's the width of the first two books.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It does a lot.
It's substantial.
And it's great. And it just really I don't think I really realized before how much the first two didn't do compared to this one.
Until you get to the third one, you're like, it's the same thing as when you got to Silver Flames. Who wrote this book? This is an entirely different book.
Right.
From the first two.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite book.
Silver Flames?
Yeah, that's my favorite Sarah J. Maas book.
Yeah. It's awesome. I love Nesta and Cassian. I'm one of those army folks that will cut people if they say something about Cassian.
Anything about
Really.
Yeah, I know.
But I love all the details, the Easter eggs, how we're, like, she's setting it up. Can you see it happening?
Yeah.
Do you like the story?
Now.
Okay.
Yeah. Now.
Okay.
I'm excited for you to read Assassin's Blade now because there are so many different things that are just mentioned. Just like a little drop here and there.
I forgot that
But there's a
Lysandra's
whole
in those.
story.
Remember how I said that Lysandra was only mentioned in one book? She's in Assassin's Blade.
She is
so
in
a lot
Assassin's
of people
Blade.
read those to start. So that makes sense as to why they just kind of mention them.
But she didn't write it first. She wrote it later, right? As a prequel.
I think she wrote some of it first.
I don't know.
Because if she writes it first and then she goes on and writes the next two. But if we get the author that wrote this book to write that book, then I'm excited.
She wrote Throne of Glass in 2012, Assassin's Blade in 2014, and then Crown of Midnight. So she wrote Throne of Glass first, then Assassin's Blade. So
Oh, wow.
it came out before the second book.
But it's a prequel.
It is a prequel. Yeah. And then,
Okay. Well, we'll see. Because we're reading that next, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a really good, because in this next book, we get to go back to the streets. We get to go back to Selena Sardathian before she got sent to Endovir.
Yeah.
So we're going to mess with all those people. I think it's called Queen of Shadows because she's like cutthroat. And you get to see this really smart woman that outsmarts everybody around her. And it's done well. You believe it. So thank God. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't mind it if a character's not smart. I don't want to say it not smart, but I don't mind if a character misses details, if it's believable that she's missing those details.
Right.
I think that's what bothered me most.
Is that she was just straight up ignoring them.
She was just like, she'd see it. We would mention it because
she wouldn't take 2 seconds to think about it.
No. And I think that's what got to me in the end was like, well, don't even mention it to me.
Yeah.
Come back later and be like, well, when I was in that room, I saw that.
I see where you're coming from. It's annoying to the reader. Like, why are you giving me this information if we're not going to address it? Because you just want me to sit with it?
Yeah.
You want me to sit with it while you do nothing with it? It's not important then.
Yeah.
It's not going to be important for 65 more chapters and 40 of those chapters are in the next book. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, let's not. It's like toilet. It's like annoying a reader.
It's because she was trying to draw it out.
Yeah.
And
she was figuring it out. She was trying to write a mystery. She was trying to drop Easter eggs.
Yeah.
And she wasn't getting the pacing correct. And now she has. And we're going to...
Yeah.
Hopefully this one... I'm excited to read this one again. I think I, skimmed this book. But now that I know all these characters and I know where they show up and I know where they come back. And what really happens is this world becomes small. It gets big and small. So all of the characters in these books... All of the characters in these books are going to be important characters at another point in the final battle. They bring them all together, and we get to see how Aylin's lifetime of networking makes her a badass general,
Queen
in general. Yeah,
queen of the world.
And I think it's really. I think her emotional growth in this book in particular is really, I think it's beautifully done.
Yeah. And we actually got, I liked Rowan. Often with Sarah J. Maas, she's very good at her female characters, but her man characters are the 6'7", precariously hung, dudes, romance dudes who are emotionally unavailable. Even Rysand, as much as I love Rysand, he was a sex slave for 50 years, and he does not get any time to be traumatized. We mentioned that he has bad dreams, but other than that, Feyre got a whole book of being unable to communicate, locked inside of herself,
pee-pee pants,
everything. She got throwing up every night. She got that. He didn't get that. He had to come back and immediately be like a man.
A High Lord.
A High Lord.
Yeah.
And we don't ever address the fact that he's not allowed to he doesn't deal with his trauma. We kind of do with Tamlin, but it vilifies him. The fact that he actually feels his trauma becomes what makes him a villain. And then in this book, we got Rowan, who was immediately like, I'm having a hard time too. I understand where you're coming from. Here's what happened to me, and this is why I'm sad.
And that was 230 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's immediately like, I have emotions too, and they're just like yours.
I love it.
This is where we're coming from, so we can meet in the middle on this.
And understand each other on a level. And I think what's so great about it is we've seen her with Dorian, and we've seen her with Chaol. And then we get to see her with Rowan. And we get to see the nuances of that relationship. And we get to decide, choose, and see why he's a better all-around mate for her.
Yeah.
Why he is what is the best relationship for her.
Yeah.
And why he is her match, her fit. Like, and I love that because so often in stories, we just get one romantic character.
Yeah.
And we are just supposed to accept it. And they're living happily ever, forever and ever. And they're going to fight for each other. But there's something great when we get to see more than one, which I think's kind of unique to this storytelling, is that we get to decide and see the differences. And like her relationship with Chaol wasn't terrible. They loved each other.
Yeah, but he didn't challenge her in any way.
No. And the best thing is, Chaol was always surprised and kind of like skittish and kind of, did you say this? Or like, he didn't really, he was always like hesitant for her to be the assassin.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Rowan's like, soldier up.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah,
get
she
it together.
always
You're
had
Fae.
to have secrets from Chaol.
Yeah, he wasn't
And
gonna
her too. Like they could never just be exactly what they were together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that Rowan genuinely offers her protection, and she was always going to be stronger and more powerful than Chaol. And I think he realized that. He knows that. And that's why he can't, like you said, Selena, and she'll always love him. Selena will always love him. And I like that we even get notes in the book of her revisiting the relationship with Chaol.
Yes.
Yeah. Even towards the end, I miss Chaol. I think about him.
Yeah.
You know, she's not just like, bye, boy.
Yeah.
I'm not just replacing you with this big hunky hawk, face tattoo hawk, right?
Yeah.
She's actually
in mourning for that relationship.
Yeah. And we get to see that in a healthy way. I love a good training montage, and we get several chapters.
God, Sarah J. Maas loves a good training montage. If she's not talking about men with wings, we're training shit.
Yeah, we are training. We are getting better.
Yeah, we're curing mental illness through exercise.
And I love how much she likes to eat.
Yeah.
That means a lot to me.
I do like talking about food.
Yeah, it means a lot to me that she likes to eat.
Potatoes.
That they talk about that she likes to eet.
Yeah, that they address that she eats.
Yeah. And she eats a lot, and she likes to eat. And sometimes she doesn't, but it's fine. Her getting... I still really don't understand her power. I think the way this magic manifests is challenging for me for some reason. This, like, that you have to spend time, like,
calling it up.
Cranking it. Yeah, calling it. And the longer you do that, the more powerful it is.
I think it's like queuing it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's something about the burnout that feels, you know what I imagined it felt like? Y'all ever smoked weed?
No, I have not actually.
What? That's okay.
Shocked look in your face.
I thought you were joking, but then you said actually, and I was like, oh.
No.
Okay.
I just know I'm never interested.
Okay. Well, okay, we can talk about it like a hookah. When you're hitting like a hookah, and
I have smoked a hookah.
And you pull it really hard.
But
and
it was
then
tobacco.
There's nothing left to pull, and the way that feels inside.
Yeah.
That's what I imagined her burnout felt like. Like her insides were on fire. Like she was pulling on fire without anything coming up.
Or heartburn.
So, like when you get to the end of a joint and there's just paper?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're just
Not that you would know.
You're just burning. it's just, it's just like burning without anything.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But she talks about it later like she's tunneling down. It's a burrowing, tunneling, like she's drawing up.
Which it sounds a lot like Bryce's jump in Crescent City. So Bryce has to, in Crescent City, when people like come to adulthood, they have to do this thing called, I forget what it is, but it clicks in their immortality.
Yeah, it's kind of like the settling in this universe is, what is it called?
Also, Alayne's immortal. Why don't we know that yet?
Because she doesn't know it yet.
Because...
Why? I don't know why we don't know that yet.
Because she's like wandering around as a human.
Like, when do we... I know, but I need to... I hope we learn that soon, because I was thinking about it today. I was like, wait, when do we learn that?
I think we learn it...
Like, she's full Fae.
In the next book.
Maybe.
Not Assassin's Blade, but...
Queen of Shadows. Yeah. But they have to do that thing in Crescent City where they have to fall into their power, and then they bring it up. But then their power gets, like, taxed and taken.
Yeah, they have to, like, give some of their power
They give some of their power away. And giving the power away, they think it's going to this, like, good place. It's actually being eaten by these, like, giant star monsters. Called the Asteri. But I'm just making the correlations in the power realms, because if we are mixing universes, how those are going to pop up. How Aelin loses her power at the end. And it's really... fucking annoying. I hate it. That's what I didn't like, the way Kingdom Ash ended. I saw this TikTok that was like, it's either be with you or lose my power. I'm going with number 2. I'm going with number 2. I will be with my second love of my life so I can keep my world ending power. But she loses her power. And I'm curious. I'm like, how can we get her power back in these other universes?
I mean, she's gonna.
I don't know. Maybe not, though. She lost it. You can't have Aelin and Bryce and Farah in a room and Aelin not have power, because she's the baddest bitch.
Yeah.
It'll come back. It'll just come. Sarah J. Maas, as much as she likes to pretend, she kills people sometimes. But her characters that she loves... Nobody big.
The Has characters she killed anybody that she loves? Lahaba forever.
Lahaba forever.
Lahaba and Keely forever.
Yeah. No, but like no like main characters are being killed.
Nope. She likes to have the like, hey guys, something really dramatic happened. Psych. Nope. Sorry.
Well, Tony Stark eventually died, so someone's gonna have to go.
I would argue probably not.
Okay.
The last book is gonna just be like 3 volumes set. So that we can save everybody. Yeah, it'll come back. It'll just be like it's how is she going to get it back?
And maybe it won't be as big
as
it is. Cauldron, yeah.
Just dunk her in there. Just like we did the baptismal. Did you die?
But did you die?
Just like the book when she was like, I don't know, maybe if I throw the book in there, that'll solve the problem. They'll just take Aelin and be like,
Aelin, no. What will happen is they'll dunk Aelin. Aelin's gonna straighten out, and be diplomatic, and mess and like fix all the stuff Nesta did to the poor cauldron. Yeah, and then she's gonna pop back out with the book. She'll be like, "Look at this book I found."
And she's like, "Why was this in the bottom? Did you guys know this was in here?"
This book is like really intense. Have you guys read this?
Unless the book shows up somewhere, because it's gone somewhere.
Yeah,
it was tossed into
the void,
somewhere. The in-between.
Yeah.
Rowan talks about the in-between.
Yeah, because that's the same place Reese talks about, where they're like, well, or Tamlin talks about it. He's like, well, where does the table go? Well, it just goes to like a pocket realm.
Yeah, the in-between.
Yeah.
That's a Harry Potter thing,
I love how we come up with really creative names for everything, and she's like, I don't know, it's the in-between. It's in-between stuff.
In-between.
It's got a hyphen that makes it its name. The in-dash-tween.
We'll name it Sauron. We'll call it Sormon. I feel like that's how fantasy writers write. Yeah, we'll call it Morgoth. Morath.
We'll call it Morath. We'll just drop the G.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Yeah.
Golden Ring. It's fine.
I loved
Black Ring.
I loved Emrys and Malachi. I really love there being
a
same-sex fated mates.
Yeah.
I really like that, and I hope she can really and we get some of that in Crescent City too. Like,
oh yeah.
So
there's a lot more of that.
Hopefully she'll be able to swing back and make some moves so that the Morrigan.
Because same-sex couples or non-heterosexual coupling in that world is treated as very like frivolous. Like they have Hellion.
Yeah.
And Hellion is like a fuckboy for anybody.
Right.
Fuck you, fuck that guy,
Yeah.
fuck
Yeah.
her, I don't care who. And it's treated as like, oh, he's just freewheeling and fun and flexible or whatever.
Fluid.
Instead of,
yeah.
it's not treated as a legitimate, you know what I'm saying? You know where I'm going with this? Yeah,
it's not given any kind of like weight.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're just living your life.
Yeah.
Just like,
Also-
like in Crescent City, her characters start off as party girls. They're just like, that's their lifestyle. We're party girls. We party.
Yeah. There's a lot of drug use in Crescent City. It's a fun time.
Rachel doesn't know anything about drug use.
Except hookahs.
So you haven't done
Tobacco.
You have never done
Spain.
cocaine? I'm just
No.
kidding. Cut it out, cut it out, cut it out.
I was in Spain. And in Spain, when you go out, you don't go out for like coffee. You go to a teteria and you have like a hookah and a pot of tea.
Oh, that sounds
That's
fun.
so cool.
That sounds
It was
really
really
fun.
fun, actually.
Yeah,
it was
it
really
sounds
fun.
really
You get
fun.
like a pot of really nice tea and a hookah, and you all just sit around and drink your
That
tea.
sounds like actually
Why don't we
my
have
favorite thing.
Why can't we have a hookah in
That's
the
my
pod lab?
dream night. There's no ventilation
I've
in
been
this
thinking
room.
more about our silk pod coats. Pod coats.
Our sweaters. Jumpas.
Yeah,
Our
jumpers.
kimonos.
Yeah, I'm thinking more about those.
That's what we need. We need kimonos
No, I
and
have
a
a friend.
hookah.
I have
and then
my teen friend. She has a Cricut. So I'm gonna get her to Cricut some stuff for us. I've already got a list of things. Also, where do we buy the merch?
I need to put up more on the merch store.
Yeah.
Well, I was
I
gonna.
have it on TeePublic right now, but
Okay, is that like Redbubble?
it's like Redbubble. I need to move it. I don't really like. Okay.
I don't know.
I don't love TeePublic, so I need to move it. I'm gonna cut that.
Put it
out,
on
but
Redbubble.
I'll put it on Redbubble.
You know what Redbubble is?
No.
It's basically, as an artist, you can put your art on there, and then they will put it on any kind of merch.
And you just get paid a small percentage.
And the best part is you can get shower curtains. I have a Redbubble shower curtain.
That is the
and
best part.
It's beautiful.
Nice.
Ooh.
I'll show it to you.
That's pretty cool.
It's beautiful. It's my favorite thing. It like makes my bathroom. But back to this.
Oh yeah, back to the books.
You know, I think there's just so much to talk about. Sorsha. We haven't talked a lot about Sorsha. I love her character. She's a healer.
Yeah.
They don't have magic.
She's Irish.
She is Irish. And Elway. She's from Elway. And
She's from
Finn
Harrow.
Harrow. And we
Yeah.
get an adventure where
Just talk. I don't always know where I'm looking.
Selena is she goes to Finn Harrow and she meets a young lady and she helps her. And then she goes and becomes a healer. And the healers with magic are like bad
Legit.
bitches.
Like real.
and that's
magicians.
actually, we
I bet
learned.
they can even do C-sections.
But we. Yeah, probably.
Where did that come from?
Oh, so
she's
at the
talking
end of
about
a court in
end of
Silver
Silver
Flames, when
The baby's
when
gonna
they're
die
like
'cause
they're
they
like
can't-
sorry they can't come out, it's got wings. I was like, we can literally put entrails back in and stitch that up. We can make wings that have been shredded to ribbons back
Yeah,
into
but
wings.
we can't do a C-section.
perform a C-section.
Yeah, that's what she was talking about. Yeah, very relevant. I thought it was funny. Yeah,
They're literally like, sorry, can't fucking do that. Got
Sorry,
nothing.
your mate's got to die.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've done
she's
a
gonna
lot
die.
of
And they
research
do
into
die.
men's
They do
health.
I mean, they straight up do die. That baby dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we've got nothing for that. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
But the healers, so that's why we learned they had to get rid of the magic, because the healers have the ability to fight the Vogue. With that, the healing power, the way that it's a type of light, and they had to get rid of it because, that's
it was
what.
so powerful, and it can literally
can
just
take out the
destroy the
Vogue.
Vogue.
Sorry, I feel even though you don't mind, it feels,
You're like, this is weird.
This
That's because
feels-
it would bother you.
it
doesn't
would
bother
feels
me.
wrong. I would cut somebody. I would cut them if they told me a spoiler. But I don't let people do that. I read it so fast. I'm not going to give you
Yeah,
time.
I'm not going to give
Yeah.
anyone
I'm
the
not going to give you
opportunity.
the time to do that to me.
Exactly.
I will sit in my room for 2 weeks at a time. I do want to say the audio version, if you are like me and you've only listened to this book, which I'm going to read it. I'm going to get my own copies, some beautiful versions of it. I want like beautiful library books. Can you just like get those anywhere? Like the kind that are like, do you know what I mean? What do you call those? Where they're like bound like a classic book. What's that called?
I'm not sure.
Well, no. I don't know, because I'm always looking for pretty books.
I see where people make them. Like they get the paperbacks and
then they bind them.
They
I
bind
wonder
them.
if I could find some. I mean, it's probably
it's really expensive.
Yeah.
Well, and
It's like a custom type thing.
If you wait long enough, they'll come out with like a commemorative edition.
Yeah.
Because we're coming up on the 10-year anniversary.
I think that was last year.
Last year?
Because 2012 was when Throne of Glass came out.
Wow.
But the last book came out in 2018. I am so grateful that this isn't a series. Sorry. Why is that? Like, why do I get so much fluid in my throat and my mouth? I'm just so fluidity.
Maybe you're just really healthy and
juicy.
hydrated.
Yeah.
I'm just juicy.
You're a juicy girl.
I'm really glad, and some people, I'm sure there's people that have been on this train for 10 years, that I didn't have to wait for anything.
No.
That would make me so mad. I hate it. I don't want to do it.
I hate waiting.
I don't want to wait for Crescent City. I don't want to wait for more Court of Thorns and Roses. I will. I have to. I don't have any choice or control.
I'm really curious about having to wait until each Wednesday for a new Ted Lasso to come out.
Oh my God, you watch Ted Lasso?
Yes.
You don't have a Ted Lasso sticker on my car?
What?
You never noticed?
No.
I do. It's Ted going like this with his mustache. Do you watch Ted Lasso?
No.
Do you want my Apple Plus ID?
No.
Why? Why are you so resistant?
I don't know.
It's the
Stop
best-
resisting.
It's the best TV
Stop
show.
resisting.
It's the best TV show that's ever existed.
don't know. I
Probably
struggle.
that's ever.
I struggle a lot.
But it's just quick, funny, and happy and wholesome, like K-pop dramas.
It's like
K-pop
happy
dramas.
It's just happy and wholesome.
Feel good.
Can you just try it?
Don't you want to feel good?
Wow,
Rachel?
there's a lot of peer pressure in this room. I want you
to get out.
You're both staring at me like, why are you not watching this? You should be watching this.
You don't have to watch it. It's terrible. You'll hate it.
Look at I don't know why I'm weird about television shows. Okay, I haven't packed that yet.
It might be demand avoidance.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Demand avoidance is where, like, you can't do things people tell you to do. You're not going to like something someone tells you to like. You have to come to it on your own. It has to be your own thing. It's something that people don't even realize that they're doing.
Kind of reminds me of Rowan.
It's called
That's fine.
it's called PDA. It's called something demand avoidance.
Oh,
Came across some information on it.
that's interesting. It's not that I don't want to be told that I'll like something. I just get in moods where I can't watch anything new.
I have that. I have that. And I often get very overwhelmed because my mom tells me to watch a new show at least once a week. You have to watch Sisters, or you have to watch this or that or that. And I'm like, I can't, like, I'm still watching Ted Lasso that you told me to watch 3 years ago. Like, I'm only on that. So I can't do too much. But like, if you're going to choose one show to watch, make it Ted Lasso. Or
I think
don't.
it's the
Leave it.
same thing that made it hard for me to read the first two books. Is I have like I have to be thinking about what's going to happen 2 steps ahead, and I have to be remembering what was happening 2 steps back. And it's exhausting to watch or listen to new things because I can't turn that off. Mm-hmm. And so if I want to relax, I can't watch something new. It's not relaxing. Even
Right.
if it's entertaining, it's not relaxing. I have to watch something where I already know what's happened and I already know what's going to happen.
Which is why we watch,
That-
Friends
I've heard
over and over
that.
again, or The Office,
I
you know?
am 100% the opposite of that. I can barely watch things more than once.
Oh.
And I know when I love something because I can watch it more than once. And I watch every Ted Lasso episode at least 3 times during the week. I have never... So
It's so
I
good.
came upon Ted Lasso the week it premiered, August 20th of 2020. It was the worst year of our lives. I was miserable trying to start over my life, trying to figure out who I was, trying to heal from, 2020. And this brilliantly funny, wholesome show about soccer, football comes out. And I'm like, who the fuck is this? And why is it so amazing?
It was like what we all needed.
And I watched it episodically. Every appointment watched it. It was my Friday morning. I woke up and actually it comes out Wednesday mornings. But I would watch, it came out the same time as I think The Mandalorian was on at the same time. And it was just this like, it meant so much to me because, I kind of get lost in these characters. One of the reasons I knew I was so dysregulated last couple weeks ago is because the second episode of Ted Lasso had come out and I cried because it was over, because this is the last season and we're only getting 3 seasons. I don't know if you knew that.
What?
Yeah, there's only 3. So we're on the last season.
I'm sorry, I have to leave now.
I know. And it ended and I liked it so much. I enjoyed it so much that I started sobbing. I also started sobbing when I was watching The Mandalorian. I was like, this is not normal. You are
I cry on every episode
normal.
of The Mandalorian.
This is not normal. You need your pills.
Matt,
go get your medicine.
Matt tricked me into watching the 3rd episode of The Last of Us.
Yeah, Bill and Frank
just
Forever.
put it on.
Yeah, it's a standalone.
I was like, I cannot handle like tragic romance at all. So as soon as I was like, me, like they came on screen and I was like, oh, I know exactly what's going to happen. And I started crying every time anything dramatic happened between the two of them because I was like, I know how this is going to end. And I was like, you can't do this to me. You can't do this to me. And he was like, I'm sorry. I didn't know. It was so good.
I think think that episode of TV is flawlessly perfect, and I think it will go down in history as one of the greatest episodes of TV, hands down.
It was so good.
It is. Have you seen it? No. Well, you'll watch it tonight.
Oh, I'm not going to spoil it. Good thing I didn't spoil it then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
I cried myself to sleep.
It was good.
It was so good. In fact, my bio on Instagram right now, as a tribute, says Bill and Frank Forever. Just a little tidbit.
But I've never watched any of it.
I didn't watch any of the rest
It's a
of it.
standalone episode. You don't necessarily have to watch it. Watch the show.
I didn't watch any of the rest
It's a
of it.
fantastic show, though.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic show.
I will watch it eventually.
Yeah, it's great. I liked it. It was awesome. It was HBO. Like, they do premiere TV. It was well done. A lot of money. Yeah, definitely recommend.
And we don't have any more news about the Sarah J. Maas Hulu.
Nope.
Nothing.
Nothing out. I got my fingers on the pulse, so I will know.
Like, if only we could just have,
I thought about
one
doing
cast member. Like, just one.
Well, and what's cool is they don't have to cast Az and Cassian. They just have to...
Exactly.
They just have to cast Reese. There is a rumor that, and I think this is false, and I've considered this actor as a Reese-Ann before, but I don't think Reese-Ann is a white man, and a lot of people think he is, but I don't think he is, and I think I just don't. And but Jacob Elordi, do you know who that is? He was what's his face in Euphoria. He's like tall Australian actor.
Mm-hmm. I didn't watch Euphoria.
He's very attractive, and he plays a dark, actually kind of fucked up, broody character. And I could see him being a Reese, but I also think I personally think they need to get no-name actors that are talented. I would love to see, did y'all watch Shadow and Bone?
Yep.
No.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
Did you finish it? The second season came out.
I haven't watched the second season yet.
I think that the way that show is cast, I can literally see every character in A Court of Thorns and Roses in their cast.
Yeah.
And they're not all perfectly attractive people, but I'm like, that is a Nesta. That is a Fira. That is you could cast this person as Cassian and I would be okay with it.
Yeah.
Because of the swagger and the charisma, the Riz.
Yeah.
Have y'all heard that?
Yes. I did, actually.
Yeah.
You started it, didn't you?
No.
Yeah, you did.
Maybe.
You did. But I was like, oh, I just want British actors. Just please don't cast
people
American
who can
actors.
act. Can we have people who can act, please?
Yeah. I guess I shouldn't say that. Haas mean.
Just people
I'm a
who can act.
nationalist.
It's fine. If you can find an American actor who can act, great. Canadian, also good.
Oh, love that. Yeah.
Just
Love
as long as they can.
Canadians.
And somewhere between the age of 25 and 35.
Can Ryan Gosling just play all of the characters?
He would be a good Tamlin. Like, what if Tamlin was a little funny? No, it would make him more attractive.
Yeah.
We can't have that.
No.
Well, you got to pull the rug out from under people. So
Yeah.
it'd be okay to have him be like somebody you could actually fall in love with. And then that makes the dramatic reveal of like, actually, he's a total dick.
Well, and I'm hoping
Way
that
better.
that's what they do. Like, I hope that they follow. I hope that they keep the twists that were for the reader for the book in the show. Like, the first season should not have Cassian and Azriel. It should not have Valaris in it at all.
No.
Did you guys read The Magicians?
Matt
I
did.
Love Grossman.
I read the first book, and I watched all the show.
Okay, so I loved the books. Loved them. And I really loved the first season of the show. And then the show, there comes a point when a show leaves the books, like just takes a hard left. And I can't go on from there. I'm like, this isn't the books anymore.
I think that they know
So
the
I'm just
stakes
scared.
of getting it right.
I'm just scared.
There
Okay.
are already TikToks about women watching it or people watching it and going, the books were better. Like, literally, lots of them.
Well,
Because
I mean, the
people
books
just
are going to be better, of
aren't going,
course.
well, yeah, but there's a way when you have the ability to do a series in 10-hour-long episodes, you can get it right.
Yes.
10-hour-long episodes of A Court in Thorns and Roses, this
You can do it.
medium-sized book,
Yeah.
you can get it right.
Yeah.
If with the right writers, the right casting, and reasonably good, but like CGI,
Yeah.
you can do it.
Yeah.
A lot of people want it to be animated because they think they're going to fuck up the wings.
No. I
Like
can't.
You don't like animation?
No.
A lot of people don't.
I'm
The
not
only
into it.
animated show that I've really, well, that's not true. Invincible, excellent. And then, what was that show that came out last year that was really good? It's on Netflix. I'll think of it. But it was really good. But typically, I try and watch anime all the time. It's just not for me. But what are you
I want
doing?
to take pictures of your boards.
Did you take pictures of last week's boards?
No.
I want to take pictures.
Well,
of
maybe
them
I
too.
did. I may have.
They definitely help. They at least know the names of
Yeah.
the characters, especially as they get bigger and we have to remember them.
And then we'll need a third board.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
was glad this book was better.
I know, me too. I
I
was
was
like,
so glad that you were able to read this
You
book.
didn't get any angry texts.
well, but I think you also were trying to not do that. Matt said yesterday, he was like, Rachel was really worried that you were mad at her. And I was like, I wasn't mad at her.
Sometimes when I get in like I'm feeling something about
Okay,
something,
so-
I can get a little intense and my face looks so angry when
Well,
I'm like
no,
that
I
I worry
I didn't
about it.
get that from either one of you, and now
Okay.
I've figured out what my role is here because I've been having a hard time figuring out why I'm here. I think that I am the Libra in this situation.
yeah, you have the scales to balance us out. For sure. Well,
And
I'm the
still
in-between.
nobody's
I think
done
that
my
had
chart.
more. I have done it. I was feeling intense. My feelings were really big. I was
Yeah.
dysregulated and pretending I wasn't. And it was a really great example of what happens when you don't take your Lexapro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Matt,
When you have medicine that you're supposed to take to be a balanced human and you just stop taking it, then you get mad at your friend when they don't agree with you.
So you were mad.
I was
No.
I was feeling big feelings on the inside.
Yeah.
And I was trying to not. But I didn't know how. I also feel Like, I have insecurities about not being communicative and intelligent enough to...
I think that was my drink.
No, it was me.
Oh.
It was my body.
Oh, okay.
I went...
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought there was a struggling puppy dog.
No, that was me.
Okay.
It was like
Okay.
noise coming,
Okay, go ahead.
seeping out. But I didn't know how to... I knew that there was a response, a valid response to you, and I didn't have the words and the language to offer it. So I just was like, no.
It worked. I think
know. It was fine.
It was fun. And Matt and I dated for many years before he was on any kind of medication.
Yeah.
So the formative years of our relationship, he was effectively unregulated.
Yeah.
And so it's fine. Like, it's fine. If you're going to lose your ADHD shit around anybody,
Well, and
I'm a good one to do it around.
But
sure.
for me, it's not just ADHD. It's also anxiety and depression and just like emotional regulation in general.
Right. Like, that's...
I really struggle
Yeah.
with that. And I have really big feelings when I am very regulated. So it is a lot. And it's almost do y'all have, you know what it's like maybe 5 or 10 days before your period where you just have your irrationally...
rage days.
A
yeah.
rage day.
Yeah.
I was having a rage day. I actually got my period the next day. Thank you. You're welcome.
I told you.
fine.
I mean,
This is
I
the girl talk
mentioned
edition.
the cycle earlier in the last hour. So
It's fine. Women have emotional, physical cycles, mental cycles.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
30-day cycles.
It was just a plethora, and I didn't have the language, and I really wanted to be able to put together what I was thinking. but I
story of my
couldn't.
life. Story of my freaking life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, anyway, I think it was good. It was a good episode. Turned out good because we were having a real, like, live
were-
And
discussion.
think we're
I don't
having
think
fun.
that anyone listening to it that doesn't know us would know. But on the inside, I was like, I don't know why I'm so upset. Please stop talking about Selena like that. I love her.
I mean,
don't
but
know
you
why.
can see what I mean about the first two books.
No, I do see what you mean.
And then when you get a new perspective on her in this book, you can look back. And if you were to reread it, you're like, okay, she's really struggling right now.
And I did have too much perspective to be able to, like, micro.
That's why I was saying I wish I could remember how I felt the first time I read through these books, but I don't because so much has happened since then.
I remember being like, why is this witch here? And I'm not reading these chapters.
See,
So
I
now
don't-
going
I
back
just
through
know
them,
my
I'm
love
like,
that I have for them.
Love every freaking ounce of Manon Blackbeak. I
love her.
love her. She's just awesome. I love that she's this. They're all ugly and mean to each other, but yet they're all a like group of really tight knit, close women supporting each other and doing these really healthy things and calling it this really like low frequency things.
Yeah.
Her grandmother's an asshole.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she is.
And
have
it's
no idea.
it's kind of unrealistic that Aelin killed Baba Yellowlegs, to be honest. It's kind of unrealistic.
It is in that book.
She was 700
years old.
If we'd gotten Aelin in this book and you put her with Baba Yellowlegs, I would have believed it.
Yeah.
I didn't believe it.
It almost
in the first
feels
one.
like
I
she
I
gave
agree
up
with that.
or something.
I feel like superpowered Selena could do it, but that Aelin just with swords. I mean,
she kind of lucks
it
into
does
it.
have-
in theory,
yeah.
she is an incredible fighter.
Right, but
Right?
she just didn't. That was Sarah J. Maas just not knowing how to write that for us, not knowing how to get us there.
Right. I like reading her action. I think she does action really well. Personally.
I do.
I don't know how you feel about that.
Her actions, the first two books, no, I didn't, because Selena's always blacking out or whatever. She'll like lose herself to the moment. That's what I was talking about. Then we'll zoom out and we're seeing it from a third perspective. And it's literally just like, it feels masturbatory because it's like, look how great she is. She's so good at this.
Well, it feels
How
like
awesome.
a
And
good
it was like-
pace.
Yeah, we
for
would get
me.
Chaos version of her being a good fighter. A lot.
Right. Yeah. But normally, like in this book, when she's doing her fighting, it's fine. Because she doesn't, we don't get stuck in the granular details of
And
things. We will if it's
honestly,
important.
her her, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's fine.
Honestly, her, like, Sanderson does action well. Or, let me say this. He does it in a way that I can read it and understand what the fuck is happening.
Yeah.
And she does it kind of similarly to him. And I understand what's happening. And just thank you.
Yeah.
If I can understand and keep up, because I don't really like action. I don't watch movies for the car chase. I don't like the action.
Like the battle scenes?
No, I don't really care. I like the emotional piece of it. Tell me what people are feeling when they're getting blown up and slaughtered, and Nessa's screaming for Cassian because she has this feeling that the cauldron's about to blow up. Like, I like that part.
I'm a big battle scene girl, I think, and I really enjoy action, and I like it. I mean, it seems pretty, like, I've read action where it's just drags.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like telling each little thing that everyone's doing. And this feels more like I ducked, couldn't miss that last blow, you know?
I thought you were going to be like, I ducked, and then I goosed, and then I ducked again.
Now, I don't like her battle scenes. Her one-on-one fighting is fine, or like a small skirmish is fine. But like the battle scene at the end of
Rings and
Ruin, I was like, what the actual fuck? There was no idea that anything was planned. It's like when there's two monsters, or like Rhys and Feyre are standing next to each other. No, but
unleash the monster.
Feyre and Rhys are standing next to each other, and Feyre's like, I got you a present. And Rhys like, oh my God, you did? I got you a present. And it's like these evil monsters. And they're just like, and they just appear in front of him. They're like, oh my God, best present ever. And then they just send them off together. It's like when you're in D&D and you keep your group too close together so you can all be in the cone attack. It's exactly what happens. They're like together so that when they do the big cauldron,
critical miss.
They all die. You could have had we could have, introduced this to each other the night before instead of getting a blowjob. We could have done this instead.
That's true.
And then you could have been like,
happens.
I'm going to put one right here. I'm going to put one on the western flank, and I'm going to put one over here. Or, hey, I don't know, since they can manifest anywhere, why don't we just have them up in the middle of the enemy side?
What's the fun monster in that book's name?
Baraxis.
Yeah. And the bone carver.
Yeah. But literally they're just like,
and the weaver, right?
There is absolutely no way you are the general of an army and you give
You're doing a terrible
and you do this
job.
immediately before.
Cassian's the general.
But okay, this is even worse then. She didn't tell Cassian what resources she had so that he could place them strategically.
Right.
So that she could surprise Rhysand with her super special surprise that she went off and got. And I was just like, this makes no sense.
Yeah.
And then she would literally write herself into a point where, I mean, she had it planned, but we would get to a point where I was like, oh my God, you guys were going to lose. And then the like angel wing people show up. And then they're not enough. So it's like, oh my God, you guys were gonna lose. And then the boats show up with her dad and the force that he's been raising.
It's very
in secret this
like
entire
Lord
time.
of the Rings.
And by the time you got to the end of it, you're like, I don't know who the fuck else is going to show up.
Else?
Who? We could have anybody at this point. I don't know.
Here comes
could be anybody.
Gandalf on the fifth day.
On the third day,
and then the sky opened up and Gandalf popped up. Yeah.
And it just felt like we should have coordinated. Like,
it's almost like she didn't do any research on like battle strategy.
And how to do a battle, like how to make it look like they knew what they were doing.
She should have had a what they call
because
when you have like a person help you.
She thinks so much about other stuff.
A collaborator. Yeah.
It's like she had a vision for the way the end was going to go, and that's how it was going to go. And absolutely, there was no other way.
I feel like her focus on the end of that book was the emotional ride for the characters, especially like the sisters and the father, and you get more of that in Silver Flames.
Yeah, the father thing fell kind of flat though, because I think you mentioned this
because we don't see him
and we don't get anything, and so unless she rectal actively,
but
I don't know why. I don't know why.
She needs a short story.
I don't even.
She just needs a short story.
Yeah, something to like
right in the middle there.
Kind of give us a little bit of like an idea of what he went through. The Lucien meeting the dad. Done. And then meeting them all up.
Yeah, this is why if we had a Lucien story where he's gone, he leaves, and I thought, okay, good, we're gonna get some Lucien perspective. He needs
like his own Tower of Dawn.
Yeah, or just a short novella.
Yeah,
I love those. Take advantage. I wish more authors did that. Like, if you're gonna build these giant fucking universes that all connect, it doesn't always have to be an end game. It can be a short origin story, right?
We could just have Lucien on the continent because he's got to meet that lady. He's got to bargain with the death god and get her away from the death god. He's got to meet the dad. He did a lot, and he did it. And he did it all behind the scenes.
Yeah.
All of it.
It's insane.
And so it loses all impact because we're like, he did fucking what? What was he? Didn't he just go over? He was like, I'm going to go over there and I'm going to like do some stuff. And they were like, whatever, Lucien, just get out of the fucking house. And he was like, okay, fine. And then he just shows.
You're making Elaine uncomfortable. Please leave.
Yes, please leave. Yes. She loses it a little right around there in those books. She didn't quite know where she was going. That's why we have like Feyre comes out and she's actively nasty to Lucien. She's talking to Lucien. And Feyre otherwise like invited him to the house. She's like, everybody, we need to give him the benefit of the doubt. And she's just like, hey, yeah, you're kind of an asshole. She's
having a bad day.
That.
Yeah.
She's on her rage day.
She's a rager on that day. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're just anyway, but that's why like if we just had that little short story where we got that, and or we could have had rumors of like there's somebody on the continent who's raising an army,
or just some kind of throwaway line about a merchant. Yeah, and that's what we get. We get a lot of these throwaway lines in this book that are really relevant, and later on you're like, oh shit, she did a couple throwaways about that, and that's why I've realized I need copies of the book because the way that my brain retains, were those the right words? The way that my brain retains
written information.
But if I lay down and read, I'm going to go to sleep. So I got to sit up. So I'll just go to the park.
Yeah.
I always like to kind of talk about what else I'm reading a little bit.
Yeah.
Did you start?
I haven't yet.
I'm
rereading World War Z. When I finish that, I'll read it.
Oh, interesting. Why? Just for fun?
I like World War Z.
Cool.
Well, I like the audiobook because it's a graphic audio.
What does that mean?
It means that it's acted, like actors. Cool. Like Nathan Fillion is a voice. Mark Hamill's a voice.
Nathan Fillion. They have that. You guys know they have that.
Fabulous.
You know they have that for A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Yes.
They have that. I have not attempted it because I do not want to pay another $90.
I know.
For that. That's how much it would cost.
$90.
Well, it's like $15.
I feel like, I feel like I'm good on that. Like,
I don't need it either.
The World War Z graphic audio is great, and it's old, so you can just check it out from the library.
Yeah, I might do that. Actually, I'll find that. But talking about I think it's like the first book is 2 parts, right? So if each book is $15, that's $30 a book.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can't. Audible, you need to get it together. I am tired of spending $15 a book.
And it's no cheaper to buy credits.
That's crazy.
No, it's not. That's what I'm talking about.
Like, I already spend $16 a month on Audible.
And you can buy them outright if you go to Amazon on a browser.
Yeah.
The Amazon app doesn't support that purchase. It doesn't even advertise the purchase because it wants you to buy it on Kindle. It wants you to buy credits on Kindle. So you can buy an audiobook alone, and sometimes they're less.
There's also a dispute between Amazon and Google Pay.
What's that mean?
Google Pay was taking like extra percentages.
Well, who was using Google Pay?
A lot of people use Google Pay. Amazon was using Google Pay.
Oh, they were?
Like through the app.
Okay.
And so there's a dispute. So they just took out all purchase functionality through the apps.
Oh, so people who have like a Google phone were using Google Pay to buy stuff. Because I use Apple Pay to buy stuff.
So they just disabled it completely.
So I've stopped doing that because I go through Amazon, like I'll go on the browser to.
Yeah.
Well, that makes so much more sense because I was like, why is this so inconvenient?
Yeah, but why is Audible not a discount? Like, if I'm a member, I should get a discount. That's the whole idea.
Well, yeah.
Right.
But you can, if you go on to Amazon and you go on the browser and you go and look up a particular book, you can see the individual audiobook price. And sometimes it's like $7.99.
Yeah.
And I pay $15
that makes
for
me
every
furious.
credit. $15.99 for every credit.
Yeah.
And when I buy 3 of them together, it's $39.99, which is 40. So what's 40 divided by 3?
Yeah, but then if you're not paying minimum $15 per audiobook, you're losing money. Like if you buy a cheap audiobook, you lost money.
Yeah, because
That's why I canceled it ultimately, because so many were like $8.99, but it was a credit.
right.
Right.
I could have just bought it. I saved
Right.
myself $7.
Well, or is there a way? But do you have to subscribe? Can you have?
You can just buy them and add them to your Audible app.
Can you do that? I don't have to. I might.
Without being a member.
So am I? The reason why? Well, why do I get?
am I an Audible
Why do I
member
get
then?
Kindle Unlimited? I don't think I pay for that.
It's $10 a month.
I do pay for Kindle Unlimited.
How am I paying for that? I don't know how I'm paying for
I
that.
don't know, but we're going to wrap it up because it's an hour and 15 minutes.
Oh,
and
yeah,
now we're
okay.
just talking about Amazon politics.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, Six Scorched Roses is really great. I'm reading the Horseman series, which is terrible, but I can't stop reading it. It's fucking awful. The war, famine, pestilence, and it's...
Sometimes you just need a book that's like the plot is optional and there's a lot of smut.
I'm pissed
Yeah.
because I like impulsively got the audiobook to it, and I was like, I paid $15 for this shit when I could have started that series that Matt was talking about. And anyways, it's been a pleasure. I'm really glad you like this book. I'm excited.
I'm so excited for
next
what
book-
is to come.
Our next book is Assassin's Blade, and
Hopefully it's not a step back.
It's gonna be.
It's like half a
You guys are
step.
like, maybe.
That's what I'm saying.
gonna
Just
be-
remember how good you feel today.
It's gonna be, but it's short stories.
Okay. I can handle that.
And you're going to Pre-Endovier Selena.
And we really need to know this stuff.
You need to understand. It's,
I'll read it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's been a pleasure. And,
Until next time, friends.
yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Is it hot in here or is it just me tuning in to hear these 3 chatting about fantasy novels of the spicy variety? Not your average book club, if you know what I mean. Are you happy to see us? Or is that a dagger